Hello, it's time to finally sit down and film birth story for baby number 2. I'm currently 7 weeks postpartum already, so this video is a long time coming. I've meant to film it pretty much since she was born, but life with under two is very hectic, busy, so I haven't really had a chance to sit down and film this video and tell this beautiful story. So here we go. Honestly, since this was 7 weeks ago, I'm gonna need to pull up some notes, some receipts, because do I remember everything? No, but that's why I'm glad I wrote it all down. Did post a little Instagram post with the story on it. I also filmed a little TikTok filming the story, but I thought I had to film a separate one for YouTube too, because you guys are special. You guys you get everything from me. So here I am. I got my Poppy because I already had my coffee of the day. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lauren. I am a mom of a 20-month-old now and an almost 2-month-old, a 7-week-old. So life has been very, very fun, very crazy, very full of love, but also very intense. But I'm not here to talk about my experience with that. I'm here to talk about my beautiful birth story. So let's finally just get into it. I also have some clips. My full intention was to film a full birth vlog, and of course I didn't get to that because, well, you'll hear later in the video what ends up happening. I will insert the clips I did get while laboring at home and all that, and like story of the morning and stuff and how the day went. And I'll also insert pictures from my actual birth experience. Wonderful doula always takes the most amazing intimate photos, and I'll share the ones that I feel comfortable with sharing because they just really add to that story a lot more. What is that thing on the floor? Let me go grab that dirty sock or else it's gonna bug me the whole time I'm editing. Okay, we're back. Okay, my due date was August 29th, and I did have my first at 39 and 2, so I was fully expecting to go to that or maybe even earlier, because people say you have your second baby earlier, but obviously that's not the case with everybody. Me. So when her due date came around, I was like, well, she's either gonna be a due date baby or she's gonna be a 41-weeker. So on August 29th, which was her due date, I woke up at 4 a.m. that morning with some like light contractions. They were very mild and also very sporadic, so I was able to sleep around them, which is nice. Like, they didn't keep me up, but I did wake up when I did get them. And I always got very intense Braxton Hicks, like honestly since I was like 17 weeks, so I do know the feeling of Braxton Hicks, and like I can definitely tell the difference typically. And I was scared I wouldn't be able to tell the difference again, but I obviously was able to. So that was like 4 a.m. all throughout the morning. Around 7 a.m. my son Zeke woke up, so that's when we got up for the day. And I remember when Keiko got up to go get him out of bed, I got up too, and I went in the room and I was like, well, we're meeting baby sis today, I think, because I've been having contractions all morning, which is what literally all of us wanted to hear. Good morning. It's currently 9 a.m. August 29th. Baby girl's due date. I think we're having a due date baby. This might be the start of our birth vlog. If it is, I'm so excited. I've been having some contractions. I feel like this is all like exactly what happened with Zeke's labor. I started contracting overnight, like in the middle of the night, but they weren't intense at all. I kind of just think they were Braxton Hicks. Kept getting a little more intense throughout the night and a little more consistent, and actually waking me up from my sleep around like 4 a.m. last night when I checked the clock and had to go pee. And then ever since then, I just could not really go back to sleep because they were getting pretty intense. So right now they're about 10-ish minutes apart. It's still a little sporadic. They're still not very long, so I'm still feeling pretty good. Hopefully we get to meet baby girl today or tomorrow. Fun fact, I was a due date baby, so it'd be so cool if my baby girl was too. So we basically went along with our day. We went to the park that morning. Zeke took a nap. I took like a 2-hour nap. And all throughout the day, my contractions were so sporadic, so spaced out. Like, they never ended up getting any closer together. They were honestly like 10 to 20 minutes apart, like the whole entire day that day. And honestly, even when I took that nap, they just completely stopped. So I was very convinced that I was not in the actual labor. Maybe prodromal labor, just something, but it wasn't the real thing because they were not getting closer together, and I was getting very, very frustrated. So we just continued as normal literally through the whole day, like from the time Zeke woke up at 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. when we went to the park that evening. Again, as normal, like that's part of our routine. And I was having more contractions, and although they were not getting closer together, they were definitely getting a little tiny bit more intense, but they were so manageable the whole time, so I wasn't really convinced still. And I kept saying to Keiko, like, I think baby sis is just waiting for us to put Zeke down, and once we put Zeke down for bed, things are gonna ramp up. I just had a feeling that that was gonna happen. And of course I was in contact with my doula all day, just giving her updates, and she was actually at another birth that day, so I was like praying that things would either wait until her other mom had her baby or something. I don't know. I was just praying something would work out so that my doula would be able to make our birth, because that was like worst case scenario. So we continued on, did bedtime as normal with Zeke around 8. I think we put him actually down in his crib, and that night was so hard for me because I knew that this was probably the last time that I was going to be rocking Zeke to sleep, him being my only baby. Although I was not fully convinced I was in labor, I was convinced enough to think that that was going to be the last night, and I was right. Many tears were shed on my end rocking Zeke to sleep that night and putting him down, just knowing that I probably wasn't going to be there in the morning to get him out of bed. And it was very sad because I'm here literally every morning, and honestly this whole pregnancy, the only moment I've been dreading was leaving Zeke at home to go to the hospital. So now that that time was finally here, I was very, very emotional about it because I've never left Zeke more than like a few hours in his entire life. It's been all day pretty much. It's 8:36. I'm trying to catch you before I get another contraction, but pretty much all day has been super inconsistent and like sporadic and nothing really too crazy. I've still been having contractions all day, but nothing too consistent to where I'm like, okay, this is the real thing, until about an hour or two ago. Definitely getting more intense. And with intensity comes probably closer together ones pretty soon. So I don't see us going to bed tonight, which who knew last night or the night before that was my last night of sleep for months. I'm doing pretty good. I can still manage them fine, although they are getting more intense. I can definitely see us going to the hospital sometime in the middle of the night tonight, because putting Zeke to bed for the last time was the most emotional thing ever. I am still a wreck. I love him so much, and I can't believe that he's going to be a big brother. Maybe next time we see him. Ideally, we would love to leave for the hospital before he wakes up in the morning, like be gone by then and have a baby by then. But if that's not the case, that's fine too, I guess. We're pretty much just chilling for the rest of the night. Keiko is cleaning up downstairs, and then he's gonna head up here. We'll probably watch our show. I don't know if I can lay down through these contractions anymore. I'm gonna really try to, but if not, I might just be on the ball for the rest of the night. Also, I just pulled out my little metal balls, spiky balls. Haven't used them yet, so we'll see how they work. So still not fully convinced, silly me. I told Keiko like we should just try to go to bed as normal, like let's just act like it's nothing's going on so that we can both get the rest we need until this is like fully the real deal. So around 9 p.m. I think, we finally got everything cleaned up, all the bedtime stuff ready, and we finally hopped into bed. Yeah, like around 9, and we decided we were gonna watch our show on Netflix, or like maybe around 9:30 I would say. And at that time my contractions were still like 10 to 20 minutes apart, not closer at all, since literally 4 a.m. that morning they never got closer together, which was really driving me crazy. And I was like very discouraged at this point because I thought nothing was happening. I just thought things were taking a really long time to happen. Finally got in bed to watch our show. My contractions got steadily around 10 to 15 minutes, which was really exciting because it's finally a little bit closer and a little more like consistent. And I can also tell they were getting a little stronger every time, which was very good mentally for me, because I knew things were finally happening like I thought they would after we put Zeke down to bed. So after a while of them kind of like fading out, I think my position, I was laying on my side, like on my pregnancy pillow. We were both laying in bed with our laptop watching the show, and I could tell they were kind of spacing out, I think because I was so comfortable. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get up, try to get things moving. Although I want to lay here and rest and like get as much rest as I can, I also don't want things to space out again because they were finally getting consistent. So I decided to get up, switch positions. I got on my yoga ball, which is literally where I labored with Zeke like almost the whole entire labor, and I wanted to see if this baby would like it too, and she ended up loving it. So I would say like around 10:15, I told Keiko, I was like, I think you should get some sleep. I'm gonna stay up obviously, and if things start going crazy, if I really need you, I'll wake you up, but I think you should get rest at least, since I know I wasn't going to be able to sleep around the contractions I was having. I told him, just go to sleep, I'll wake you up if I need you. So he finally decided to go to sleep. So while I was still in bed, before I ended up getting up on my yoga ball, I felt a couple like small gushes of fluid. But with my first baby, just want to note, my water did not break, so I did not know this feeling. I didn't really know what it felt like for your water to break, but I was like, that's kind of weird, but I didn't think it was my water breaking. So, but around 10:30, when I was sitting on my ball, I felt a way bigger gush, and I was like, okay, that was definitely my water, and I was very convinced at that point. I think after that happened, I went and sat on the toilet, and even more came out, so I was like, okay, that's definitely it. And then I put a diaper on, and more came out, so I was like, okay, this is my water breaking, which I was so happy about because I knew I was gonna have a baby within the next day, and that if I were to go to the hospital at this point, they would admit me because my water was broken, no matter how dilated I was.
No vlog.
It's 10:41. Timing wise, still 10-ish minutes, somewhere a little closer, but I'm 99% sure my water broke. It's just, my water didn't break last time, so I didn't know what to expect. And it's not like the movies where he's a huge bottle of water popping out of you. It was literally, I was laying in bed and I felt a couple gushes and then went on the toilet and there was more gushes and then put a diaper on and now there's more gushes. Pretty sure that's what happened. And I know things speed up after that happens typically. So my water fully breaking around 10:30 until like I'd say 11 maybe, 11:15ish. Not much changed besides my contractions getting a little bit closer together, but nothing super drastic, so I continued to labor in the same position on the ball. I did wake Keiko up though because my water did break. I also called my doula, told my sister who was gonna come and stay with Zeke when we left for the hospital. So I was just giving everyone updates at that point. At this point my contractions were like maybe 6 to 8 minutes apart, so definitely a lot closer, but still not super close. So around 11:30 when I decided to call my doula and just let her know what was going on, I said we'll probably leave for the hospital in the next couple hours, so just to, you know, be on the lookout. We were just planning on meeting there at this point. From this point on, things went through the roof. So crazy. Okay guys, it's 11:41. My contractions are about 5, 6, 7 minutes apart now, so ever since my water broke, things are definitely speeding up. I actually told Keiko to go to sleep and get a little bit of rest, so that's what he's doing right now. I'm probably gonna wake him up in the next 30 minutes because I think we're gonna be heading in the next couple hours for sure. And I can confirm my water definitely broke because I'm filling up these diapers so fast. I also just want to know, I didn't add this in, but my whole plan was to birth in the birthing center at the hospital, which I was literally so excited for. They had a birthing tub, which you can't give birth in, but you can labor in, which I was really excited to utilize because I was going all natural, which was my plan, like I did with my first. So I was so excited for this birthing center experience. I had midwives all throughout my prenatals this time around, and I just loved it, and I was really excited to give birth in the birthing center, which was still at the hospital, so it was like a win-win situation. Like 11:30, like I said, contractions were getting a lot more intense. Some 3 minutes apart, some 2 minutes apart, and they were getting so intense at this point. So I think around 12:30 I'd say, I did call my sister and I was like, okay, it's go time. She has been waiting for this call, so she was awake. I was like, I think you should get here like ASAP because as soon as you get here we gotta go. I think it's go time. And she's like, are you serious? Like, she knew how slow things were going all day, so for things to just ramp up like that, she was a little shocked as well.
Hey Vaughn, it's 12:41. How are you feeling?
I am shaking all over, first of all, which hopefully does not mean I'm about to have a baby. Things just got pretty intense the past, like, 15 minutes.
Brittany's on her way.
My sister's on her way to come watch Zeke. Called her doula. She's gonna meet us at the birth center. I'm, like, okay in between contractions. Well, this one, yeah. The last, like, 3, and I'm shaking. Even though I'm, like, hot.
Okay, vlog. It's 1:06. Brittany's here. Excuse the room, it's kind of crazy.
Okay.
Okay.
So when she did get to the house, things got so intense so fast. I literally couldn't walk 5 steps without having a super intense contraction. And mind you, I was up here, literally in this spot right here, pretty much on my ball, like right by the bed. And I had to walk obviously all the way from up here, down the stairs, through the garage to the car, which was parked outside. And I kid you not, I literally could not walk 5 steps without having a contraction. I think from here to the car, I maybe had like 5 to 7 contractions. They were like pretty much back to back, 30 seconds apart maybe. And I was a little bit freaking out. Like this point I felt like was the hardest thing I've ever done. I didn't feel post water breaking contraction pain with my first, so the fact that my water broke this time around, your contractions definitely are more intense with not a bag of water cushioning your baby. I definitely agree with that statement. And I remember halfway down the stairs when I was contracting, I just remember I was like so calm. That's one thing about me through my labors, like I'm not like outwardly like screaming in pain. I'm externally very calm, but inside kind of freaking out. So I just remember saying like, this is so annoying that I couldn't walk 3 to 5 steps without having another contraction. So around 1:15 a.m. we ended up getting finally in the car, and I actually have footage on my Ring camera from the front of me having a contraction right outside the car, and it looked like I was in a lot of pain watching that back. We had a 15-minute drive to the hospital, so I was like, okay, this is about to be the most intense car ride of my life since I was contracting literally every 30 seconds. So about 10 minutes out, maybe like 3 contractions later in the car, Koa driving in the front, me sitting in the back of his tiny blue Prius. I remember him saying, if you feel pressure, like if you feel anything, you gotta tell me. And I was like, okay, yeah. So like 3 contractions later, I think we were about 10 minutes out from the hospital still, I started to feel a little bit of pressure. I told him I was feeling a lot of pressure, and although my body wasn't pushing yet, because that's something also with my births, my body just starts pushing on its own. Like there's no planned pushing for me. My body will just start going when it knows it's ready. But I knew for a fact that it was going to do that on the next contraction after that pressure that I felt from the one before. So about 5 minutes out from the hospital, in like 1 or 2 contractions after that one where I told Keikoa that I felt pressure, my body started pushing involuntarily. If you know the feeling. There's no stopping it. You can't hold this feeling back of pushing your baby out when your baby knows they're ready to come out. It's the craziest feeling, and if you felt it before, you know what I'm talking about. He was asking me if I wanted to pull over on the side of the road if I thought this baby was coming, or if we should just book it to the hospital because we were 5 minutes away. And mind you, it was like 1 a.m. so there was no cars on the road really. So he was driving very, very crazily, but safely. So I told him to just call our doula and see what she thinks. She said, no, do not stop on the side of the road. Just book it to the hospital as fast as you can. So after deciding to book it to the hospital in hopes that I didn't have to deliver a baby in the back of the car, we made it to the ambulance bay where like the ambulances park and stuff, and my doula was already there. She was waiting outside. She had warned the ER. She had a mom on the way in the car, pushing in the car, so to be ready when she gets here, which is me, I am she. And also a note, since it was after hours, we had to enter through the emergency room anyways to get to labor and delivery, so that was the plan, to just meet at the ER regardless. And at this point, when we parked in the ambulance bay, baby's head was crowning. I could feel baby's head. I knew baby's head was out, so the ER doctor came in to the front seat, looked in the back, had a flashlight, shine the light down there to see if he could see anything, and I kid you not, as he shined that light down there, I felt baby girl's head go back up. It's like she was playing peekaboo. I don't know. So he very nonchalantly like, yeah, we have time, let's just get inside. Internally I was like, no sir, I don't think we do have time, but obviously I wasn't saying any of this. So they were all telling me to get on the gurney that was right outside the car, and I literally could not get up. Like there was no me voluntarily getting up. I was like, I'm not getting up. Someone could pick me up, but I can't move. So Keikoa grabbed me, put me on the bed. They all wheeled me into the first room, into the ER, and obviously I guess it's ER protocol, like hook her up to all the wires, give her the IV, give her everything. So I had like EKG leads on me. Someone was starting an IV while I was pushing my baby out. I was just like, please get off me. No one touch me. So my doula was there. She was telling him like, I don't think she needs those leads, like take them off, like she's not here for an emergency, she's just having a baby. So the ER doctor ended up checking me, and he said I was at a 6, although baby's head was there. Another nurse said, let me check. So she checked. She said, no, that's baby's head. She's having this baby right here, right now. So then they called code pink, which meant we were having a baby in the ER. So that meant to call all the labor and delivery nurses down, the midwives. So I guess I started intentionally pushing around 1:35. And after 1 contraction, after 2 intentional pushes, our baby girl was born at 1:37, 2 minutes later. She was perfect. She was pink. She was crying. All the ER doctors, ER nurses delivered her. None of the labor and delivery people made it. So it was just very crazy. Everyone was very, very shook. There was probably like 20 to 25 people in that room just standing around watching, because they were probably in awe that they were just watching a live birth, because I don't think they get to see that very often. I just remember like looking up and just seeing bright lights and like heads everywhere. That's like all I could see. So yeah, after that we got finally wheeled up to labor and delivery, and I got to spend my few hours of recovery in my beautiful birthing center that I had dreamed of giving birth in. Obviously that did not happen because we did not make it up there. We got to stay up there for a little bit, recovered, all that. Then we got moved up to the labor and delivery floor a few hours later and got moved into our actual room where we got to just spend time and meet our baby girl. And it was a beautiful experience. Although it was the most hectic, crazy, chaotic experience, I would not change literally one bit about it. It was perfect. My little perfect ER baby girl did not want to wait to give mommy the birth center experience she wanted. She just wanted to make her appearance very early in the ER, and that's okay. But that is my beautiful birth story of baby number 2. Next baby, if and when, will be a home birth baby, I'm assuming, because I can't tend to make it to the hospital. I think that'd be the safest option for me. But yeah, she's here, she's perfect, she's 7 weeks old now. Recovery for me this time around was amazing, very fast, a lot faster than my first since I did not tear this time around, and I had a 2nd-degree tear with my first baby, so the difference between tearing and not tearing is night and day. My recovery was insanely different, and I'm so blessed for that this time around. That is my story, a story I'd love to tell for the rest of my life because it was just an amazing experience for me and so beautiful, and thankful for all the ER doctors and nurses and everyone who was a part of the process. My doula, my husband, like Jesus, honestly, could not have done it without him, for sure. Now we're here adjusting to life at home. We're getting into a routine. And yeah, if you have any more questions or if I left anything out, please comment down below and I'd love to respond, chat, all things birth, labor, all that. I could talk about birth all day long, so if anyone wants to just chat. Yeah, thank you for watching this video. I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
On a perfect holiday, you're like the warmth of the sun on my skin.